They gotta get what's coming to them, and I'm not gonna listen to that.
What do you want? Revenge?
So this was one of the exclusives that dropped on social media, and we are at that stage where we should expect a lot of promotion, small ads and teasers, interviews from the casting crew as well as exclusive clips. And that's the agenda for today's breakdown. We're going to be running through two new teasers. One where Tariq teases something very similar to what his father did towards the end of his time on Power, hence why I'll be asking the question, is Tariq making the same mistake as Ghost? And by the time we come to the end of the breakdown, you'll understand why I've said the same mistake as Ghost. Now in the second part, we're going to be running through Tariq's revenge plan, what he's got in store for the Tejadas, Nomar and Effie, and also how I think he's got his eyes set on more than just revenge, in all things Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 4.
You can't kill me. Nothing can. Not when you're at the top of the game.
Now in this particular promo you have Tariq saying, "You can't kill me, nothing can, not when you're at the top of the game." So it seems like at some point in Season 4 Tariq will find himself in a very strong position. A position which he says is at the top of the game, which I do fully expect him to reach. I think if we have a look at who Tariq is as a character, who he's the son of and who he's been mentored by, he's grown up under the guidance of some of the most smartest and ruthless individuals. However, here's the catch. Sometimes when you're at the top of the game, that's when you tend to make mistakes or take your eye off the ball. We've all seen the downfall of other characters like Walter White, Franklin Saint, and also Power's very own, Ghost. So when we actually listen to Tariq saying, "You can't kill me, nothing can, not when you're at the top of the game," it does remind me of Ghost towards the end of his time on Power, and this is where I just want to take it back and have a look at the similarities. Towards the end of Ghost's time on Power, he was moments away from being Lieutenant Governor. He went on this political journey which was a new playground for him to just test himself and achieve power and influence. He did it in the drug business for many years, and he also did it in the real world of business where he built his legit empire through Club Truth, and later where he acquired a few others after a battle with Simon Stern. But the closer Ghost got to the top of the game, so to speak, the more he thought he was unstoppable.
So you gotta stay out of my way. Cause I swear to God, Tasha, nothing is gonna stop me.
Tasha even once said once he gets into office, nothing will be able to stop him, which was Ghost's signature line towards the end of Power.
I got a whole new life ahead of me. No one can stop me now.
We also had Ramona saying some people are just unstoppable.
There are some people who are just unstoppable.
And so Ghost had this aura and confidence about himself where he was just unstoppable. He thought he was invincible because he finally had one foot out the street game. He released Tasha from their marriage, his words. He found a new lover in Ramona. He'd beaten Rashad Tate, and he was about to achieve a different level of power. But in doing so, he created a hell of a lot of enemies on his journey.
See, some people know how to win. They always win. See, that's me. No matter what, nothing can stop me from winning. Then some people can never win. That's you.
And so this is what eventually led to his downfall. He made a hell of a lot of enemies from everybody in law enforcement, Paz Valdez, Tommy, Rashad Tate, Dre, Tasha, and also Tariq. He then fell to the one person who he didn't see it coming from, ironically when he was at the top of his game. And so we come back around to the question, is Tariq gonna make the same mistake? I've said it before in a couple of previous breakdowns, Ghost Season 4 has a very similar feel to the ending of Power. It's Tariq against a world where he's having to deal with multiple enemies and threats, just like Ghost did. And now we have Tariq thinking very similar to what Ghost once did. He's thinking he's reached the top of the game, nobody can kill him and nobody can stop him. But that's why I'm asking the question. We've seen what happened to Ghost when he thought he was at the top of his game, when nothing could stop him. So is Tariq making the same mistake?
Your father tried to ride one out from between two worlds. That's what fucked him up.
One of the biggest problems for Ghost was he was always stuck between two worlds. He was stuck between being a drug dealer and being a regular civilian. Even though he tried to leave the drug game behind, something always found a way to pull him back in. Eventually when he left the game behind, because of who he was, he could still never shake the persona of Ghost. People like Rashad Tate, people like Cooper Sachs, Blanca Rodriguez, all the way to Detective Don Carter.
Tariq St. Patrick, son of James St. Patrick. No code, no loyalty. And you smell just like him. I know the truth.
Now telling Tariq he smells just like his father means that he knows who his father was. No matter what his public image was, no matter how much they tried to hide who James St. Patrick was, some people just know the truth. And that's why Tommy said that's what fucked him up. Ghost tried to live a double life, and in this game, you just can't. You can't have the best of both worlds. Now in Ghost Season 3, Tariq did say to Tasha, his father's mistakes were lessons for him. He can learn from where Ghost went wrong, use his mistakes, and make sure he doesn't make the same. But in my eyes, the only way Tariq doesn't make the same mistake as Ghost is if he actually does what Uncle Tommy says. He picks a lane and stays in it. He either commits to being a gangster or he commits to being a regular civilian, which is what I think this scene at Club Truth is all about. I do think this is a hallucination because the colour is all off. The scene also seems to be very wavy, and we also have to remember Tariq doesn't actually have his hands on Club Truth. So this is the moment where, in my opinion, Tariq will have to reinvent himself, in essence, become a new version of Tariq St. Patrick. Now this is also where I think it's worth bringing it to the synopsis. When Brayden starts flirting with a new reckless lifestyle, Tariq wonders if there's really room for two at the top. There's also another section that says Tariq must reconcile his past to rise to the top of the food chain. Now on Brayden, again, I do think it's very reminiscent to what we saw play out in Power. For Ghost to rise at the top of his particular food chain, he had to leave Tommy behind, because Tommy was someone who was always loyal to the streets. Tommy never saw the same vision as Ghost did, and as time went on, they really started to see life differently. They wanted different things and be different people. So if we're saying Tariq's journey somewhat mirrors his father's, I think we can make a very good case to say eventually he may have to leave Brayden behind. As the synopsis teases, he wonders if there's room for two at the top. In terms of reconciling with his past to rise to the top of the food chain, I think there's a lot of demons Tariq has to visit. He's done a lot of bad shit during Power and Power Book 2 Ghost, but the quote from this new teaser where it seems like he is at the top of the game, it seems like Tariq has managed to overcome most hurdles. I say most, because of course, with everything that we've just been through with Ghost, this is why I'm constantly asking the question, will Tariq survive, or will he make the same mistake as Ghost did when he thought he was unstoppable? In my personal opinion, I still feel like Tariq will survive come the end of Season 4. I just don't think they'll kill Michael Rennie Jr.'s character, who's still very young and arguably one of the most popular characters. I mean, it's crazy that we're saying that because a lot of people before Ghost even aired were saying fuck Tariq. Nobody wants to watch a show about a guy who killed Ghost. But here we are. The writers have managed to change the perception of a lot of the audience, where a lot of us actually find ourselves rooting for Tariq. Maybe not all of us, because there is a lot of the audience who are still fuck Tariq. But there definitely is no denying he's a very popular character, the guy who's going to draw the audience in for the next spin-off show in my opinion, and that's why I don't think they'll kill him off just yet. Even though there seems to be a lot of similarities to the ending of Power and Ghost Season 4, I wouldn't even be surprised if they leave it open-ended. I mean, in the final scene we could see someone shoot him, but they could actually leave the story open and the question open, where we're asking, did he survive? Just have a look at the chaos they caused recently. If there's one thing they know how to do, they know how to get the internet talking. 50 Cent knows how to market a show, he knows how to get the fans talking, he knows how to increase the engagement on social media, and you're not telling me they're not looking on at so many fans still believing Ghost is still alive. You've got so many people across multiple platforms creating theories of how they still believe or hope Ghost is still alive, and so it wouldn't surprise me if they did the same with Tariq. With the ending of Ghost Season 4, they give the internet something to wonder. They give the audience and the internet just something to bite on, when majority believe Tariq has survived. As I mentioned before, I personally do think there will be another show that follows on from Ghost. Whether Tariq is a part of it, it would make sense.
They gotta get what's coming to them, and I'm not gonna listen to that.
What do you want? Revenge?
Now, in regards to the second teaser, we've got Tariq telling Brayden he wants more than revenge. It's also a scene where we'll hear Tariq say he's going to turn into the apex predator. And when we first heard this, we all had questions around who he was talking to, because it was a bit of a mystery in the official trailer. But I do think we have our answer. Tariq is definitely talking to Brayden, but he'll also be telling him he wants more than revenge. So we all know this season's focus is revenge, that's the core theme. But how Tariq plans on getting revenge? I do think there are a few ways in which he can attack. Early on, I do expect there to be an all-out assault from both sides, but I also expect a truce to be drawn, or at least a mutual understanding between both, because this war doesn't benefit either, especially when you've got a new cop on the scene, who's said to be someone who Tariq hasn't come up against before, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But I think once the dust clears, Tariq and Brayden will have to get back to the drawing board, create a new battle plan. They'll need a new alliance, a new connect, because they sure as shit ain't getting anything from Nomar and the Tejadas, so they'll definitely need to come up with a new plan. Now I do think one way in which they can do that is by targeting Anya Covington. I think that's the weak spot for Nomar, but I still feel Tariq needs more. For him to dismantle Nomar's organization and bring down Nomar and the Tejadas, he needs to know the ins and outs of our organization, and so it makes me think, who can help him from the inside? I've said it before and I'll stick to what I've said before. This crew that Nomar has beneath her are a bunch of snakes. There is no else other way to kind of put it. They're all out for themselves. They're always on different wavelengths and thinking about what benefits them in the long term. And that brings me to two characters in particular, Obi and Effie. We know Obi's helped Tariq before. It was a favor for a favor, because Tariq helped with the green cards, and that's potentially a way in for Tariq, Obi. I feel Obi and Nomar have never really been on the same page, and now that his family have their green cards, we might see Obi start to disobey someone who he's been serving so loyally, so to speak. Now the other is Effie. I said this in my death predictions that her interests just do not align with Nomar and Kane's. Her end goal is to go to Stanford and get out of the street game, because like she said, she doesn't want to be looking over her shoulder. She's only in this game to pay for education, and this is why I still feel like she could flip, or most definitely betray Kane at some point. It doesn't mean that Tariq will definitely trust her again, because I think she's burned way too many bridges, but can I see them working together for the greater good? Most definitely. And it goes back to the point I've been making of how Tariq and Effie's long-term interests are very similar. So those are two ways in which I think Tariq can kind of find a way in, get information and start to plot his revenge. However, Tariq says he wants more than revenge, and what I think he means by more than revenge is I think he wants it all. I think he wants to bring down Nomar and the Tejadas, and I also think he wants to take her entire drug organization from beneath her. Tariq is definitely here for it all, because if you're going to exact revenge on someone like Nomar and the Tejadas, you can't go in half-hearted, you have to go in for the kill. So him saying he wants more than revenge, I think he's going to take it all from Nomar, or at least try to. Let's remember, that was his original plan when he had that talk with Tasha. The plan was to work under Nomar, learn what she knows, learn everything about her organization, so when the time's right, he can take it from her and bring Tasha on board. So that's what I think he's going to do. Now whether he succeeds, that of course is definitely a different question entirely. Whatever game he plays is going to be dangerous. There's always going to be a level of risk involved, and I'm sure he'll win a few battles as well as lose a few. So that's where we are in terms of him wanting revenge, and how I'm at least expecting him to approach the scenario. Of course, later on when we start to enter uncharted territory, who knows what could happen. So with that being said, let's have a look at one character who will definitely be an added complication.
You smell just like him. I know the truth. I know who you are. And I'm gonna put you where you belong.
For him to go up against Tariq and tell him he smells just like his father, this is a character who's going to have a no-holds-barred approach. He's going to be a menace. He's going to do whatever he can to put Tariq and the rest of his drug organization behind bars, or maybe even worse, next to James St. Patrick. Detective Don Carter isn't someone to be messed with. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Tariq saying nothing can kill him, not when he's at the top of the game. And do you think he's making the same mistake as Ghost? In regards to number 2, how do you think Tariq plans on getting revenge and more? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.